Hey everybody, this is Jeff Bosch with the 2017-2018 Salt Lake Tri-Club Kicker Lab. This morning we just completed our first FTP test. We're establishing our baseline for what our power and training regiment's going to look like throughout the year. So a lot of questions in terms of what's next, what do I do with that value, right? And so the first step I'd like everybody to take is to go into their Training Peaks account. Once they can go in there, if they would choose the drop-down arrow next to their name, click the Settings button. We will then navigate over to Zones on the left-hand side. Once I click Zones, you'll see if I scroll down just a little bit, we have the Power section. Underneath the Power section, we are going to put our threshold power or our FTP power number in there. You can see historically mine, it looks like was 242. Had a little bit of a down test here today, but that's okay. I took some time off. So we just need to calculate what the new FTP value is. And what that FTP value is actually 95% of the average power that you sustain during that 20-minute test period. So, for example, for myself, I've just got the calculator up here. I'll put in my 247 watts, which was the average power I was able to sustain through that 20-minute effort. And I'm going to take 95% of that value. So you can see for myself, I'll round up here, I'm going to use round numbers. For me, it's going to be 235. So once we input that new value here of 235, as we just calculated, we're going to have some auto calculations take place to help us determine what our zones are. And we'll talk a little bit more in detail later about what these zones are. But these are going to be really important for you guys to kind of keep in mind through training. Maybe write them down on a sticky note by where your bike is and where your trainer is. Maybe throw them in your phone. Just kind of get a feeling for where those are. So we're going to choose the Andy Coggan method, and you can see it has now calculated new zones for me. The comparison between up here, zone 1 used to end at 135, it now ends at 131, so I've got a little bit of work to do. So what we're going to want to do is apply that. Got my new zones applied now. You can see zones 1 through 6, and as always, we're going to want to save and close that. So what that does now, once that saves, is now inside of Training Peaks, if you were to look at any workout, you can actually see what that workout detail looks like in terms of which zone that falls in for you and what the specific wattage is. So it's kind of something to keep in mind there. More important, maybe not more importantly, but also importantly, you guys are going to update that value in the applications that you use to train with. So for example, let's start with Trainer Road here. If some of you guys use Trainer Road, you can see I've got Rory's account here. I'm dumming in for Rory. Rory had a decent test today for Rory, I guess. What we're going to do is click on his name here. And underneath his name, you can see there's a value for FTP. So it's got all those things. We're going to update Rory's value because I want him to work really hard. We're going to change that to 980. No, really, he's not that high. He's probably more like 150. But yeah, you just update that here, close this window, and now when you would go in to choose any workout, those workouts and the power profile associated with that would now be tied with that new FTP. Very similar process in terms of Zwift. So let me pull Zwift up here. I don't have my kicker plugged back in yet. I've been kind of lazy bringing stuff back up inside of my house here today. We're just going to skip past this, and we're just going to dummy a ride in here. Looks like Nick Philpott was riding, so maybe I have to ride with him. Anyways, if you click on the menu button, we're just going to click up here on our name, right at this, and you can see there is also a value here for your FTP. Again, that was my old FTP value, so I'm going to update that one. Come on, mouse. To the new 235 number. Click Save. And we're now off and running. So just don't forget to kind of update those before you do the next workouts. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.